I got a suggestion for this week's video, and it was to talk about my military experience, which is a good one. And this isn't just about my military experience, but it's about if anybody's interested in joining, you can ask me some questions. So I'm going to leave my email, because that was actually where I got this suggestion, was from my email. And my email that you can talk to me at is talk2JustBillyLeBlanc@gmail.com. So if you have questions, you can always ask me there. Military experience. So I joined in 2000 and I got out in 2015. So I was in for 15 years. I did a lot of things while I was in. My main job was military intelligence, and I was also a Navy recruiter, so I can definitely answer a lot of questions about that. I worked security forces at one point, so that's like a cop kinda. I was in Iraq, I was in Japan, I was in Maryland, I was in Georgia, Florida, Texas, and I went a lot of places, but I really can't say all the places I've been because some of those have to do with my job, which was military intelligence, and I can't talk about it.
That's classified.
It's what?
It's classified. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
First, I'm going to read a question that came from my email, and then I have some Instagram questions. And so all the names I'll be putting at the bottom are all on Instagram. If you guys want to go check those people out, you can. So my first question, though, came from my email. It says, my husband is being deployed after a year of being home for another year back in the Middle East. I am so proud of him and very upset, and I was wondering how I show him I'm proud of him and support him while he's gone. A lot of the problems that you might have in your relationship are amplified when you deploy, because you have nothing. You think about, the last time you saw someone and things like that. So don't do anything that can't be handled when the person gets back. You don't want to start fights. You don't want to, because if you've ever gone to bed mad, imagine going to bed mad for a year straight. You don't want to do that. So try to keep everything, in my opinion, keep everything light before someone leaves. Don't try to bring up too many negative issues, because then you're both going to have to sit on those for a very long time and they fester, and you don't want that. So I would say try to keep the mood light, and anything that you're worried about, unfortunately as a military spouse, you're going to have to take on a lot of the stuff on the home front. So be prepared for that and take on those things and understand that there's nothing he can do about them. So don't bring them up to him while he's deployed. There's nothing he can do. So unfortunately, it's, kind of what you signed up for, and you're going to have to take care of the things at home and understand that there's not much you can do to help. So just take them on. I'm scared to be alone. I'm scared for my daughter, since he will miss a lot of her milestones, including holidays and her second birthday. So once again, there's nothing he can do about it. So the best thing you can do, and we had YouTube, of course, but document it. So yeah, you might feel weird carrying your phone around with you and videoing everything, but think about how much he's going to appreciate it when he gets back for you to have all of those videos. I'm not sure if he's going somewhere where he can watch, but you can always put them on YouTube and send him the link. And he can kind of watch and get to see the things that he didn't get to see because he wasn't here. So that's my best advice, is video everything and either put it on YouTube or a platform like that so he can watch it, or video it, and when he gets back home, have a video put together for him. Did you guys live in Japan because of the military? How was your experience? Yes, I lived in Japan. It was very interesting. That was my first time really being in a country that didn't speak English. And so being there was very, very interesting. And the culture's different. Yeah, it was neat. I mean, everybody walks a lot of places, rides their bike a lot of places. It's not as, car necessities there. Like everything's kind of close to you. So that was kind of cool in that aspect that you didn't have to drive. You could pretty much walk to everything you wanted to go to. Okay, was there any point where you thought you made the wrong choice joining the military? No, there really wasn't. I enjoyed my time in. I don't ever remember going, oh my gosh, why did I do this? So no, I would say that there was no point where I was just like, I can't believe I did this. Would you do it again? Yes, I definitely, if I were younger, I'm not saying I'd do it again at my age, but if I had to go back again, I would definitely do it again. What was the most valuable lesson you learned during your time in the military? Be early. That's what I learned. And it definitely has served me. Be early. There's no reason for you to be there exactly when you're supposed to be, or plan on being there exactly when you're supposed to be, and something happens and you're late. There's no reason to do that. Like a lot of people I know sit at their house. So they got to be somewhere at 9 and it's going to take them 15 minutes. So they sit at their house till 8:45 before they leave. Why? If you're ready to go at 8:30, go at 8:30, be there 15 minutes early. Why? What's the difference between sitting there and sitting at your house? So be early. That's what I took away from the military. Who's in the photo? Refer to yesterday's video and you'll see who was in the photo. It's Chelsea, my cousin, but refer to the video I filmed with her a little bit. Oh, and how long ago was the picture? A long time. Long time ago. It would have been like 12 years ago at this point. I'll put her Instagram below too. Were there any family members in the military? Yes, my brother was in. I have cousins that were in. I have uncles that were in. A lot of my family has been in the military. What made you decide the path was for you? What made me decide personally that the path was for me was that I had a job, I was making good money, but I didn't feel like I was making a difference at all. I was just making money, spending money, making money, spending money. It didn't really seem like I had a purpose in what I was doing. So I looked to the military to give me that purpose, and I believe it did. What is the hardest part about being deployed, and what is the best part? The hardest part about being deployed is not being around your family. Like, you miss them. And there are moments where you're deployed where everything's quiet, nothing's happening. And it gives you, unfortunately, a lot of time to focus on what you miss back home. And you don't want to get stuck in that the whole time, because then you'll get depressed. So that's hard. The best part, you get to have experiences that most Americans will never get. So you look back and you're like, wow, I did that. Wow, I did that. There were so many experiences that you truly enjoyed that you did. What was the deciding factor for you joining the military? I kind of answered that. The deciding factor was I wanted to make a difference and get to do things that I wouldn't necessarily get to do in my normal life if I didn't join. How did being in the military impact your day-to-day now? It impacted my day-to-day now by the fact that I still take a lot of the organizational skills and the time management skills that I learned in the military and management, being able to manage those things. What are your thoughts on them recruiting such young kids? The military is there for a lot of people who need it. Obviously, the people they're recruiting are either 18 years old or going to be 18 soon. I don't have a problem with it. What is your favorite memory of the military? There's so many. One of my favorite memories was when I was in Japan. There were these little kids playing, and Caleb and Jules went to play with them, and they couldn't understand why they didn't speak English. So it was very interesting because most kids don't ever get exposed to that. So they got to see this whole, and then, yeah, that's one of the things that I'll always remember. Do you still get benefits, it says? Yes, I do, actually. I'm when I go to LSU, which is what I'm planning on doing, the military is going to pay for me to go to school. Is the military worth going? I think so. I mean, I was a recruiter and I was in for 15 years myself. I think it's worth going. How long did you serve for? I answered that 15 years. And the Navy, it says also, was the Navy your first choice? The Navy was my first choice, yes. Why did you join the military, and a funny story about boot camp? Well, I've already answered the first part of that, but I will answer a funny story about boot camp. I remember, so you're in formation, and I went in the winter, and we were on ice. And everybody was fighting as hard as they could to not slip on the ice. And of course, people are almost falling, and they're moving, and they're doing this. And our recruit division commander, which is one of the people that's in charge, yells, "Stand still!" And we were all like, we laughed about it later when they weren't around, but we're like, how do you stand still from slipping on ice? How old was I when I joined the military? When I joined the military, I was 20, about to turn 21. I turned 21 in boot camp. There's another fun story. When I turned 21 in boot camp, my RDC came into the door and yelled to drop, like to get into push-up position, and then he left. So I was on the ground in push-up position thinking, there's two options here. One, I stay here all night. Or two, I get back up and get back in my rack and deal with the punishment I get in the morning. Well, luckily, while I was trying to decide, he came back in and told me to recover, to get out of push-up position and go back to bed. And happy birthday. That was kind of cool. How was the food in the military? Okay, this is a big one. It depends on where you are. Like, some deployments I went on, the food was terrible. I mean, I've eaten MREs, which are not the greatest thing in the world, which stands for meals ready to eat. They're these little heater meal things that have a heating component in it. You put them in the bag and heat them up. And then I've been on deployments that were amazing. Like, the food was awesome. I've had lobster on deployments before, and steak, like just amazing food. When did you join and why? Well, I've already answered the why, but when did I join? I joined in December of 2000. And I got out December of 2015. Do you have severe PTSD, night terrors, or sleep talking? Yes, to answer the question. It's part of it. I was in Iraq, and it is part of it. It's the part, it's not the most enjoyable part, it's the part you try to put to the back of your mind. So I was in Iraq in 2006. And it was pretty bad then. And so it's kind of one of those things, like, you don't want to focus on that solely and make that your memory. But yeah, there are lasting effects that people have from it and that I have from it. And it's not something that's fun. And it's something that you learn to live with. Where was my favorite place I was stationed? Wow. A lot of places. Oh, this is a good one. Favorite place I was stationed? I think because I was doing something completely different, I think one of the favorite places I was stationed was Japan. I went on like road trips while I was there and got to see the country and explore things, and like I said, figure it out because I didn't speak the language. So I think Japan, because the amount of exploring I did while I was there. What's the one thing that the military does that you want people to know? This is what I would tell you about the military in general. Think of the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It's probably not that hard. And think of the easiest thing you've ever done in your life. It's probably not that easy. So it's not the hardest thing, and it's not the easiest thing. It's kind of somewhere in between. So just, if you're going to go, prepare yourself, humble yourself, and be prepared, because boot camp can be hard for a lot of people. It's mentally tough. And just prepare yourself. Go the best prepared you can be, and that's my best advice. All right, well, that's my video on the military. You can definitely email me at talk to JustBillyLeBlanc with any specific questions. I will answer questions about recruiting, like what you should know before you go into your recruiter's office and everything like that. I can answer them via email, which my email's right here, and go email. So on this video, comment, like, subscribe to my channel, and give me some video ideas. I would love to do one of your ideas. Bye.